Welcome to Gregorian Biblical Academy. Today we address a question that has moved from speculative fiction into clinical reality. In recent years, the neurotechnology company Neuralink, founded by Elon Musk, has begun human trials of implantable brain-computer interfaces. These devices are designed to translate neural activity into digital signals, allowing patients to control external systems through intention alone. What was once imagined in dystopian cinema is now being tested in medical laboratories. Because this development touches the human brain itself, it raises a profound theological question. What does brain augmentation mean for the doctrine of the image of God? The concern is not imaginary. In 2024, Neuralink announced the first successful implantation of its device into a human subject, reportedly enabling a paralyzed patient to control a computer cursor by thought. The stated aim is therapeutic, restoring communication and mobility to those who have lost them. Researchers across the field of brain-computer interface technology are exploring applications for spinal cord injury, motor neuron disease, epilepsy, and severe depression. From a biomedical perspective, this represents a remarkable convergence of neuroscience, engineering, and artificial intelligence. Christian theology has never opposed healing. On the contrary, the Gospels present restoration of the body as a sign of the kingdom of God. The ministry of Jesus is marked by the recovery of sight, speech, and movement. If technology enables paralyzed patients to regain agency, many Christians will see in this not rebellion against creation but participation in compassionate care. The moral weight of therapy is fundamentally different from the ambition of enhancement. The complexity arises when we move beyond restoration into augmentation. Brain-computer interfaces are not limited to repairing lost function. Researchers are already investigating memory enhancement, cognitive acceleration, and direct integration with artificial intelligence systems. Some futurist thinkers speak openly of symbiotic intelligence, a hybrid model in which human cognition is expanded through technological fusion. At this point, the theological stakes intensify. The doctrine at the center of this discussion is the Imago Dei, the image of God described in Genesis chapter 1. The text declares that humanity is created in the image and likeness of God, male and female together bearing that dignity. Historically, theologians have interpreted this image in several ways. Some have emphasized rationality and moral awareness. Others have stressed relational capacity, the ability to know God and one another. Still others have highlighted humanity's vocation to steward creation. If the image of God were defined primarily by intellectual capacity, one might argue that enhancing cognition strengthens the image. Yet classical Christian theology does not treat the image as a measurable quantity. It is not increased by intelligence nor diminished by disability. A person with severe neurological impairment bears the image of God no less fully than a celebrated academic. The image is a bestowed status grounded in divine intention, not a feature that can be upgraded through silicon and circuitry. This distinction is crucial. Brain augmentation may expand functional capacity, but it does not confer ontological dignity. Human worth does not fluctuate with processing speed. The danger arises when technological culture begins to equate value with performance. If enhanced cognition becomes a marker of superiority, society risks dividing into augmented and unaugmented classes. Such stratification would conflict directly with the biblical affirmation of shared human dignity. A further ethical issue concerns autonomy and mental privacy. Brain-computer interfaces operate by detecting and transmitting neural data. If such data are stored, analyzed, or monetized, questions of consent and control become urgent. The human mind has traditionally been regarded as the final interior space of freedom. The prospect of external access to neural patterns challenges assumptions about agency and moral responsibility. Theologically, embodiment must also be considered. Biblical anthropology does not reduce the human person to software inhabiting biological hardware. The Hebrew scriptures portray the human being as an integrated unity. Christian hope is not escape from the body but resurrection of the body. An implanted device may function analogously to a pacemaker or cochlear implant, assisting a compromised organ. Yet, if augmentation aims at transcending ordinary human limits, we must ask whether such ambition reflects faithful stewardship or dissatisfaction with creaturely finitude. The involvement of artificial intelligence further complicates the discussion. Contemporary AI systems can process language, generate images, and model complex patterns at extraordinary speed. If linked directly to neural systems, they could influence decision-making processes in subtle ways. The question then shifts from capacity to identity. Does integrating artificial intelligence into cognition alter what it means to be human? Christian theology responds by grounding human identity not in computational advantage, but in relational vocation before God. The New Testament identifies Christ as the image of the invisible God. The fullness of the image is revealed not in technical mastery, but in self-giving love. Human flourishing, therefore, cannot be reduced to enhanced neural bandwidth. It is measured by communion, moral responsibility, and participation in divine grace. None of this requires technological panic. Throughout history, innovations from the printing press to organ transplantation have provoked theological anxiety before being responsibly integrated into Christian life. The critical task is not rejection of technology, but discernment of its proper limits. Therapy that restores lost capacity aligns naturally with Christian compassion. Enhancement that redefines human aspiration demands deeper scrutiny. The central theological claim remains stable. The image of God is not programmable, it is not downloadable. It is not subject to market forces. It is grounded in creation and renewed in redemption. Brain augmentation may transform what humans can do. It does not redefine who humans are. The challenge before the church is therefore intellectual and pastoral. We must engage neuroscience and bioengineering with seriousness, neither surrendering to technological utopianism nor retreating into fear. Theology must speak clearly at the frontier of innovation, articulating a vision of humanity that honors both scientific progress and divine sovereignty. The future of neurotechnology will continue to unfold. Clinical trials will expand. Ethical debates will intensify. Yet the foundational affirmation of Genesis remains. Humanity is created in the image of God. That affirmation anchors dignity beyond circuitry and code. Thank you for joining us at Gregorian Biblical Academy. If you value rigorous biblical scholarship and thoughtful engagement with contemporary science, please support the channel and subscribe so that we may continue exploring these urgent questions together.